Welcome to So Much to Talk About here, Big East Media Day. My pleasure to have once again on SMTA, Mr. Lenn Robbins, college sports expert from the New York Post. Pleasure. And also on 2 SNY inside Big East as well. Pleasure.
Very much. No, it's a pleasure to have you. I'm still waiting from the check from the last appearance, so anytime you want to make that happen, let me know, okay? All right?
Okay, yeah, I'll get that to you soon. You know, don't worry soon.
It's in the mail above. All right.
But I wanted to ask you, I mean, the Big East the Big East Conference is just so loaded. Can 10, 11 teams make it to the tournament from this conference?
You know, that is why some of the coaches here, Jim Boeheim probably, you know, ahead of the curve, has been saying he wants to expand the NCAA tournament, because the reality is if you're the 10th team in this conference this year, you're a darn good basketball team. I mean, you think about what we've got here, you know, Connecticut, Louisville, Syracuse, Villanova. You know, I just scratched the surface right there. So, you know, somebody's going to finish 9th to 10th in this league, and they're going to be wondering how they are not going to the NCAA tournament. It's a monster this year.
That's for sure. And the players here, I mean, talk about which we all know about Hassan Thabeet and Luke Carangodi, AJ Price, Terrence Williams, Johnny Flynn, et cetera, et cetera. Talk about a couple players that can really make some waves this year that the general sports fan doesn't know.
Well, I don't know if they don't know about it, but Earl Clark at Louisville, I think, is poised to just be a monster this year. You know, in fact, I voted in a preseason poll this year for the All Big East team, and really, I was sitting there with Earl Clark and Terrence Williams, and literally was like down to flipping a coin or asking my dog Spot to just like step on a piece of paper. I put both of their names on the floor.
Felix the cat.
Well, I don't have a cat. I'm not a cat person.
Good.
I don't want anyone from like PETA or, you know, anyone like that. It's an allergy thing. But, you know, I knew my dog, though, was right-footed, so he went for Terrence Williams, which was what I was hoping for, you know. But Earl Clark, I mean, look, the game has changed so much. If you can be a big man who can run the floor, you have a great advantage, and that's what Earl Clark can do.
That is for sure, and he could have been an NBA first-round pick if he left this year.
Look, I am all for, if a guy's got an opportunity to make a lot of money, to go and do it. If you were a chemistry major, you know, and some big company came to you and said, hey, we'll give you $5 million to leave wherever you're on. If you ever want to go back to school, we'll pay for it. No one would say boo if that kid went and left. But if a basketball player leaves, everybody screams like, you know, he's just committed some atrocious, you know, violation of the law. Having said that, I think that the overwhelming majority of kids will do better if they stay in school. They grow up a little bit, their game gets a little better, you know, they understand a little bit more when they come out. They go through more interview and media training so that, you know, when they wind up at the Knicks or the Bulls or you know, the Lakers or, you know, because at NBA, you all have huge media. They don't get asked a question and they're not prepared for it. I just think as a person, you're better off staying one more year.
One thing, they cultivate also relationships. They can meet their future lawyer, their future agent, their future wife. You never know.
Right. And, you know, and one thing, though, that has to be pointed out, I mean, you look at some of the guys that never even went to college, and what classy, terrific guy. Kevin Garnett. I mean, you know, if you're a father and your daughter brings home Kevin Garnett, forget the $70 million paycheck, just the kind of guy he is, you got to feel pretty good about that. So, you know, it's a very individual decision. If you're ready emotionally, physically, if you have the support system around you, you know, God bless you, go ahead and do it. But you're right, there are relationships to be made in college, and those are the relationships you keep with you the rest of your life.
That's a great point. And one more question, like nationally, which teams, I mean, we all know about North Carolina and of course, UConn and et cetera, but which under the radar teams can really make a move? I'm looking at Arizona State, Herb Sendek's team.
I think Herb Sendek is one of the great basketball minds out there. My money this year on a team that's getting to the Final Four is Purdue. I think Purdue is primed with a lot of guys who probably thought last year that they could make that Final Four run and learned how hard it is to really make that happen, to win those 4 games, you know, weekend after weekend. And, you know, 2 of those games, you're turning it right around and, you know, you may have to prepare for a whole new style. I think that Purdue team is loaded. I love the coaching staff out there. I was just out there the other day, actually, for Penn State. Purdue football, and everybody was already talking basketball. So I think we're going to watch.
At Purdue, they had to, because the way Penn State slapped them, I mean, they had no other choice but talk about basketball.
It wasn't pretty. Yeah.
Well, Lenn, it was a pleasure to have you on once again. And during the season, I want to feature you once again. We're going to do once again and talk about the Conference Player of the Years, et cetera, and the Big East and the NCAA tournament.
Anytime you need me, you call me, okay? All right? It's one of the good guys out there, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. So kind.
Thanks for having me.